You will see these flags all the way along Barnet High Street on the lampposts. The ones on the right hand side will be for the, as we're walking up the hill, right hand side up the hill, are for the Yorkists, and on the left hand side will be for Lancashire, the two families that fought for the battle at the Battle of Barnet for the crown of England. On the right here is the road Meadway. We're going to carry on straight up Barnet High Street. It's great that the people of Barnet remember the Battle of Barnet 1471 because it's such an important battle in the history of England. It's the only time that England had two English kings on the throne at the same time. The Battle of Barnet was fought on Easter Day 1471. The House of Lancashire had the larger army, but there are more flags for the House of York. So some of the flags on the left hand side are for the House of York. This hill going up through Barnet was the main road from London going to the north during the 1800s, 1600s, and where the Red Lion is situated there was a huge pub and inn and stable block. There were so many pubs along Barnet High Street because all the carriages would be stopping after coming up the hill. Horses needed a rest, people needed a rest, and they would stop for food and a rest in the many inns along Barnet High Street at the top of Barnet Hill. That ghost sign up there is for undertakers. That's the Barnet Church of St. John. And so if it wasn't for the battle and one victor, England could have been divided into two countries. Two small countries, a north and a south most likely. Spire Shopping Centre used to be a church. And there's a plaque over there from Miss Wyburn of Hadley Manor. Gave a large contribution to build the church, but now a shopping centre. One of the very large inns for the horse and carriages was right there, and then they built St. Albans Road through it. On the 14th of April 1471, a very foggy Easter Sunday, two armies faced each other across a plain just north of the market town of Barnet. The War of the Roses had arrived in Barnet. The armies were the Lancastrians, about 13,000 in number, led by the Earl of Warwick, the Kingmaker, the richest and most influential nobleman of his time, and the Yorkists, about 10,000 in number, led by the dashing 6 foot 4 inch tall King Edward IV. Edward had with him Richard, Duke of Gloucester, the future Richard III, and a Lancastrian hostage, his immediate predecessor, Henry VI. Thus, at the Battle of Barnet, with the past Henry VI, the present Edward IV, and the future Richard III, kings of England. All during the night before the battle, Warwick, that's Lancastrians, artillery fired on the Yorkists, but because the latter were camped so close to the hedgerows and near the Lancashire army, the cannons overshot the Yorkists, and the Yorkists endured a noisy but safe night. The foggy conditions saw the two armies line up with a slight overlap. When the Lancastrians' right wing, led by the Earl of Oxford, attacked, the Yorkists' left collapsed and retreated through Barnet and away southward. The same happened in reverse on the other side of the battle. This meant that the armies wheeled around, with the fog being so thick that it was difficult to see who was fighting who. When the Oxford's Lancastrians returned to the battle, they charged into their own men, mistaking them for King Edward's troops. Mayhem ensued, and the Lancastrians cried treachery, thinking that someone had become a traitor, and many left the battle. Now the tide turned in York's favour. In the confusion, the Earl of Warwick and his brother Montague were killed. King Edward IV was victorious. The most famous house in Barnet is the middle one of these three, Livingstone's cottage. Livingstone, I presume, the famous African explorer. He only lived here for 9 months, but in them 9 months he wrote his essays and writings on his African exploring for the Royal Geographical Society, and he did say that this was the best house and best place he ever lived in this country. So this house, which has been in the fire, is Hollybush House, Hadley Green Road. The fire was just last Saturday night. So today is the last Saturday in May, that's today, last Saturday in May, the year 2025, just last Saturday night. This house is the fire has completely gutted the house. This house was over 200 years old. I'll try and insert a photo from the mid-1970s here in the film. I know in the mid-70s the owner found a coin which was dated 1745 in the floorboards. Last Saturday night, 12 fire engines and countless number of firefighters came to try, well, and they did put out the fire, but it's completely made the inside of the house just a shell. It's completely gutted. Tragic. You can see how blackened that chimney is. The house was going under refurbishment for the last 9 months before this horrible fire. Around Barnet Walk is walk number 11 out of 11 in this series 1. Walk number 1, I did say that I would do 11 walks. That was the target, and I've accomplished it. Thank you for all those who have subscribed, and all those who have not subscribed but you've been watching. Thank you very much. Big thank you. Continue to stay subscribed, and I'm sure I will be doing more walks around London and events. That wall at the end of the pond, it says a sign there, Brewery Pond, no fishing. Behind the wall there used to be a brewery for local brew, but it's no longer in work. Next to the house which has been on fire, it's another grand old house. Has a plaque on it for Fanny Trollope. She lived there. Fanny Trollope was an author, and also lived here was her famous son Anthony Trollope. And we're on Hadley Green Road by Hadley Green between Chipping Barnet, and we're walking towards Monken Hadley village. This is the burial spot for Emily Trollope, the youngest daughter of Thomas and Frances Trollope. So that is the monument to the Battle of Barnet. We don't know for sure that this is the exact spot where Warwick the Kingmaker was killed, but when he realised the battle was lost for his side, he was walking back towards his horse to find his horse when a band of the Yorks caught up with him and killed him. Don't forget, it was a huge battle, over 23,000 men fighting, either kill or be killed. The battle was spread over the fields here and woods where these houses are, and there's a golf course to one side where the battle would have been fought on, and there is farmers' fields to the other side where also the battle was fought. And it's written on the monument there, here was fought the famous battle between Edward IV and the Earl of Warwick, April the 14th, 1471, in which the Earl was defeated and slain. That's the Hertfordshire county line. I can't pass that, else this won't be a London walk. So I'm going to backtrack and find Dead Man's Bottom within the London side of the border. And here we are down this track. So this beautiful valley here is known as Dead Man's Bottom. After the battle had finished, the knights in shining armour, a chapel was built for those who had died, who were knights in their shining armour, and they were buried in the chapel. But for the foot soldiers, those with no armour, and the archers, we don't know where they were buried. But it is believed that this is called Dead Man's Bottom because either many were buried here or many were killed in this valley during the Battle of Barnet, 1471. Sadly, the chapel no longer exists wherever it had been. Okay, going to backtrack now to the monument and find Taylor's Lane footpath and continue there. Okay, walking past the monument on the Great North Road, heading northwards. This is the direction for Taylor's Lane footpath, which will take us beside the golf course. From the monument you take the left fork and the road is called Kit's End Road, and the footpath is just there. So I'm just peering through the trees to the golf course, and this is where one flank of the battle was done. This is where the Lancastrians with Warwick actually were winning on this side, but because of the fog, when they turned around to rejoin the battle, the Lancastrians didn't know who they were fighting, and mayhem pursued. Today it's sunny and bright, but just imagine that Easter Day 1471, thick fog here, and those fighting with sword in hand, smashing against shield for protection. Thousands died. We don't know how many died. It was a slaughter. If you've missed Barnet's medieval festival this year, by the time this video comes out, it's on yearly. Across there used to be a butcher's shop, now it's the Butcher's Arms Wetherspoon pub. Time for something to eat. Despite the name, the butcher wasn't selling any food, so it's a pork pie until I find somewhere else to get something more filling. I feel if I was to lean on that tree, it would just fall down. Timber. Eleanor Palmer's charity almshouses, founded in 1558, paid for by a kind lady named Eleanor. Now, if you go down that road, you'll go to Barnet's General Hospital, where I was born more than half a century ago. And it's called Well House Lane. The hospital used to be called Well House Hospital. It was changed to Barnet General Hospital. And as you walk forward along Wood Street, on your left hand side you will come to Whalebone's house, as in the sea mammal whale. And that archway there is the true bones from a whale's jaw. That's the Arkley pub, and they do dining, but no time now. Going to go along now Barnet Road from Wood Street and going to turn left into Elmbank Avenue. This is Well Road, just turned right into. Well spelled W-E-L-L. in search of the well, which even Samuel Pepys visited and drank, I believe, 6 pints of water, which on his horse ride home helped him get off his horse several times to relieve himself, and afterwards he said or wrote that he felt much better. And the well is housed inside that building. It's closed, locked, but the Barnet Museum open it on the 3rd Saturday of each month, but only for possibly 2 hours, so you have to check with them the times. Okay, I exaggerated with 6 pints. It says on the notice board, Samuel Pepys wrote, "There I drank 3 glasses and went and walked and came back and drank 2 more. The women would have had me drunk 3 more, but I could not, my belly being full. But this wrought me very well, and so we rode home, and my waters working at least 7 or 8 times upon the road, which pleased me well." You see that derelict building behind this fence? That would have been where the old nursing apartments, quarters would have been. They have slightly more modern ones there. And that's a George VI letterbox on the corner here with Lexington Way. This is an old Tudor school. So that's the end of the walk. Walk 11 done. Series number 1 done. You can walk down that way, down the hill this time, down the hill to High Barnet train station. But I'm going to take a bus. But not that one, the 107 to Edgware.
Look at them wheels. You know.
It's one thing doing it when no one's around, but I'm sitting next to you.
It's much, isn't it?
No, it's a joke.
Stand up there and have a drink. This is pretty, no one.
Next page though is 1954 Ian, 1956 Keith, 1962 Anderson.
What do you do? We take the money.
The first ever Go Faster stripes on a Citroen.
Just by Dave's just brand new long fact. He had one of them cover things.
Trinder Station.